Welcome to the 5th module in the Google Sheets training. In this module, we will be looking at charts. We'll start with an introduction to charts, then move on to some more advanced sheet charts, and finally, we'll look at dynamic charts. Lesson 21 introduces charts. We will take a look at the basic chart types and how to insert as well as edit a chart and its elements. A chart is simply a graphical representation of data for data visualization. In order to use charts properly, it is important to ensure your data is well formatted so that the labels are recognized by the chart. This is because you are going to have labels that correspond to values and you will plot those values according to the labels. This is what enables you to do things like choosing what goes on the X or Y axis. You will therefore need to know exactly how you want to visualize your data. Although you can try a few different charts to see which best suits your data, because sometimes you won't be sure what works best until you try a few. Some charts require some special columns to be created in order for the chart to visualize your data properly. We will get to those when we start looking at the individual charts. First up is pie charts. Pie charts are useful for showing values as a percentage of a whole. The values for each item are represented by slices of different colors according to their relative size. It is advised to limit pie charts to 8 sections. That is, only use a pie chart if you have 8 or less data points. Next is column chart. Column charts are used when you want to compare different data points as vertical columns side by side, where the height of the column corresponds to the size of the data point. If there are several data series, each series is represented by a different color. Bar charts are just like column charts, except they display information in horizontal bars rather than in vertical columns. Now, line chart. Line charts are used to illustrate trends over time. Each value is plotted as a point on the chart and is connected to other values by a line. Multiple items are plotted using different lines and given different colors. Area charts are the same as line charts, except the areas beneath the lines are filled in with color. Map charts allow you to create geographical maps from the selected data to show the location of data points. Scatter charts are used to plot clusters of values using a single or multiple points. Multiple items can be plotted by using different colored points or different point symbols. You can also create waterfall, histogram, radar, gauge, scorecard, candlestick, organizational, tree map, timeline, and table charts in Sheets. Let's now look at how you can create a chart from your data. First, select the cell range containing the data for the chart. Make sure to select column names too, if you want those to be included. Then go to Insert on the menu bar and select Chart. Depending on your data, a chart is inserted with some default settings, and the chart editor pane appears on the right. But you can always go ahead and change the chart type. Under the Customize tab of the chart editor, you can change chart styles such as background color, font size, and chart border color. Change the title and subtitle of the chart and add some formatting to them as well. And customize the legend of the chart. The legend is the label or key for the various parts of your chart. Depending on the type of chart you have selected, you will get additional sections at the Customize tab for you to make changes to your chart. There are a number of edits you can perform on your chart, from the chart as a whole to individual elements on the chart. To edit a chart, double-click on it to bring up the chart editor pane on the right-hand side, and from there, you can edit any part of the chart you want. Let's look at how you can edit the various parts of a chart. We'll begin with the chart title. To change the title of your chart, click on Customize and click on Chart and Axis Title. Type your new title under Title Text. The new title you have typed will appear as the title of the chart on the left. Next, let's edit the legend. To do this, click on Customize and click on Legend. You can change its position, font, style, and color. To customize an individual legend item, double-click the legend text. Legend headers allow you to identify the various series of the chart by showing which color on the chart represents which series. To ensure the right text is used as the legend headers, make sure the text you want to appear in the legend is the first row or column of your dataset. If the legend headers don't show, double-click the chart. The chart editor pane will appear on the right side of the screen. Click on Setup to select it, if it is not selected already. Scroll to the bottom and make sure the checkbox next to Row 1 as Headers is checked. This is usually selected by default, so the legend headers should show when you enable the legend. If the headers are in columns, click on Switch Rows or Columns and use column N as headers. To customize an individual legend item, double-click the text. This will allow you to replace the header text. Type in the replacement text and hit enter. We take a look at the chart axis next. We will take a look at both axes separately. First, the vertical axis. On the vertical axis, you can format the labels, set min or max values, and change the scale. To edit the axis, double-click the chart and switch to the Customize section of the Edit pane that opens on the right. Click Vertical Axis and make the changes you want. To hide the vertical axis line, uncheck the box next to Show Axis Line. On the horizontal axis, you can format the labels or reverse axis order. To edit the axis, double-click the chart and on the pane that appears at the right, click Customize. Click Horizontal Axis and make the changes you want. If the chart contains time series or numeric data, you can also change the min and max values. You can choose to either hide or show axis titles and tick marks. To add or edit an axis title, double-click the chart to bring up the Edit pane on the right. Click Customize and then Chart and Axis Title. Choose which title you want to change from the drop-down box above the title field. Under Title text, enter a title. You can also make additional changes to the title, such as changing the font, size, alignment, among other things. Depending on the type of chart you have, you may have the option of grid lines and tick marks. This is available for the charts with axes. To add or format tick marks, double-click the chart and click Customize on the pane that appears on the right. Go to Grid Lines and Ticks and select the axis you want to edit the tick marks for. Check the box next to Major Ticks. Also, you can check the box next to Major Grid Lines and Minor Grid Lines to have grid lines, and Minor Ticks to have smaller ticks between the major ticks. Format the major and minor ticks. To customize your axis, you can change the spacing between ticks, line thickness, and color.
You can move, resize, or delete a chart or its elements, such as the legend, titles, and individual data labels. You, however, can't move labels on a pie chart or any part of a chart that show data, like an axis or a bar in a bar chart. To move an item to a new position, double-click the item to select it, then click and drag the item to the new position. You can also use the keyboard arrows to move items once they have been selected. To reset the position of a single item, right-click the item and select Reset Layout. To reset the position of all items, open the chart editor by double-clicking on the chart, go to the Customize tab, click on Chart Style, and then Reset Layout.
To move the chart itself, simply click to select it, and then click and drag it to the desired location. Optionally, you can use the arrow keys to move the chart after you've selected it. When you resize your chart, the elements of the chart are resized responsively. To resize the chart, click on it to select and move the mouse pointer to any of the blue markers. When the pointer turns into the resize icon, that is, a double-ended arrow, Click and drag the chart to the appropriate size. You can delete some chart items like titles, legends, data labels, and error bars. To delete a specific item on the chart, double-click the item, then press delete or backspace. To delete a chart, select the chart and then press delete or backspace. Alternatively, you can select the chart, click on the three dots at the top right corner of the chart and select delete chart. A combination chart is created by combining two or more standard charts on the same axis. You can combine charts such as line, column, area, and so on to obtain a combo chart. In this demo, we'll look at how to create a combination chart using the data in the table shown here. To create a combination chart with the data in the table, we select the cell range containing the data for the chart. We'll include the column names too. We then go to Insert on the menu bar and select Chart. A line chart is inserted with some default settings based on the data, and the chart editor appears on the right. To create a combination chart with the data in the table, we select the cell range containing the data for the chart. We will include the column names too. We then go to Insert on the menu bar and select Chart. A line chart is inserted with some default settings based on the data, and the chart editor pane appears on the right. Next, we click on the drop-down list under Chart Type and choose Combo Chart from the options under the line group. The combo chart obtained in this demo shows 3 series as a column chart and 2 line charts in the same space. The combo chart that is generated can be changed to suit your needs. Among other things, you can change the chart types for the various series. To change the chart type for a series, double-click on the series in the combo chart that you want to change. The chart editor will open to the right. On the Customize tab, the series you chose will be selected under Series. You can change the series if you wish. Under Type, select the chart type you want to change that series to.